Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Cordish, joined by our superintendent, Mr. Hime. We are here, the new school year.
Awesome. What is today? I think today's somebody's birthday.
I don't know who you're talking about.
What are you, 29 today?
I'll take 30. 30 is good.
30's good?
21, I was still trying to figure out
Happy
life.
birthday.
Thank you, sir. We're supposed to keep that a secret, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, glad to be back.
Yes, we
School
are.
year started. A lot of great things going on.
We did. We had a great welcome back. Would you like to share what we did with our staff a couple weeks ago?
You know, the first time since I've been the superintendent of Lawton, we got all the teachers in a room together. We got to have an introduction. We had State Superintendent Joey Hoffmeister come speak to them. We had Brandon Carey come talk about some of the new laws, question and answer. All great. Our staff was awesome, but probably the highlight of it was we had a student panel where some of our high school students took questions with Superintendent Hoffmeister and talked about how they look at school and how they perceive things. And it's a big eye-opener for me. So those are some things we're going to try to do, even with our podcast as the year goes on, have more students on and get more perspective from the students. That's who we're trying to educate. That's what school is about, is making students' life ready.
And they were phenomenal. They had a great time. Our staff enjoyed listening to them. So I can't wait till they take my seat and have a panel time with you.
Oh.
Now we have some other things that we want to, we had 2 days last week.
Yes.
And we had some hiccups and we had some great things, and we're going to talk about that. But let's talk first about school security.
Security is always a big thing. You know, when you become a leader in a school, you talk to principals, superintendents, assistant superintendents, assistant principals, anybody in administration, teachers. One of the things we talk a lot about is we want parents to feel like their kids are safe at school. We want to make sure we do everything we can to make sure that time, from the time they get on the bus until the time they get off, or from the time they're dropped off, they're safe. So always, it seems like every year there's always rumors about, they're cutting the police force, they're doing this. No, we follow the research. So we've looked into what is the best use of our school officers. Getting them out of the buildings and circling the buildings, checking and making sure all the doors are locked, looking for those places where people could hide or get in, looking at people and identifying those who are crossing our campuses as they come on campuses. And so those are some things we're doing with those. Also, if you'll look, we've improved a lot of safety areas. I know the rumor got out that we're going to leave doors unlocked. The only doors that are going to be unlocked are those where there's another locked door that keeps you from the students and from the office. The goal is to make our schools more inviting, so when you walk in, there's a vestibule or a foyer that you walk into that you can get into, and then that unlocks you into the office. And then you can't get out of the office without a adult either scanning you out or letting you out. So that's kind of that basic security with our officer and our doorway security.
And you were talking about the doorways. We had a lot of projects happening this summer that built we upgraded, MacArthur and Eisenhower High School. Lincoln just had theirs. So that is something.
And I believe Pat Henry and maybe, I don't know, a couple more.
Yes.
And that's the goal, is to get them all. And then the other side of that is to get those schools fenced where there's only one door in. And when you walk in, you're in the vestibule. And then you have to get buzzed into the office and then buzzed out. That's the ultimate goal, is to keep that flow secure for our students and for our staff, so that we can control it. And then the next level is, as our officers, as they patrol even the elementary areas, one officer may have 3 or 4 elementaries. They're going to go around and check doors, check entries, and make sure that it's secure. Because if our goal is to keep people we don't want out of our building, off of our playgrounds, off of our property, and make sure people know that we're protecting the perimeter more so that, and that's the first step, is to protect the perimeter before they get in the building.
Absolutely. And our officers did a great job last week. We
Awesome.
actually helped with a fire right on Ferris, and then helped with the, traffic control. So we're very lucky.
They're doing a great job. We got, if you'll notice, and security even expands, continuing what you said with traffic control. One part of security that we miss is car lines. In elementaries, picking kids up, I don't care, you can Google car lines, and it's a problem nationwide. And one of the problems with car lines are people will try to beat car lines for whatever reason. Some people get there at 2 o'clock and it's a 3:30 car line. I'm not sure, sitting in their car for an hour and a half. That's prerogative, but again, they try to beat the car line. Some parents will walk up. Well, that's not safe. It's not that we don't want you to come get your child. It's that we can't have all of our parents walking up to get them at elementary. Elementary has 400 students. If we have 400 parents walking up, that's not safe. It's not deemed safe. So if parents will bear with us and work with us and have patience, last year by the middle of September, the car lines all flowed well, and by 3:45, 3:50, everybody was through the car line. And so that's our hope is, and again, that's a safety procedure, is trying to make it safer with that dismissal of our students.
Well, and especially in areas where our neighborhoods are really condensed.
Oh, there's some of them really tough. Whittier's tough. Woodland
Pioneer
Hills.
Park.
Pioneer Park is right there on Rogers Lane. And there's a lot of flow that causes headaches because sometimes those lines get there and parents not maliciously, but they'll block a driveway where they block the road and people can't get into their neighborhood. So the hope is we quickly get that moving fast, so that's a 5 or 10 minute inconvenience to our neighborhoods and our families, and not an hour inconvenience.
Yes, sir. Now, another thing that we are working to get better on is our transportation. Would you like to talk about that?
And again, that's part of your dismissal. We've got a new program that's out there. We've got self-help videos with it, but anytime you launch something new, there seems to be hiccups. And some people, we struggled with it, getting that out and getting that communication as to how or what buses you pick up. We've got the old PDFs on the website. I know all the schools are putting it out. But it wasn't like it was bad. It was just one of those things that, as I say all the time, you don't have to be bad to get better. Well, we know we can get better with transportation. And what people don't realize is our high school buses run at 2:30, 2:35. Well, that same bus has got to be at the middle school at 3. Well, then the middle school bus runs at 3, but it's got to be back at an elementary at 3:30. So anytime we get those hiccups, it's a staircase deal or a domino effect, and it just starts hurting people, having a negative effect throughout the day.
And we have the Google Docs on our website, so as there are updates, our families can go. So it's a living document, not a PDF that they just have to, that'll stay there, because we do find that buses change their routes.
Yes.
And
Well, we get sub-bus drivers. People don't realize we have so many bus drivers. We get sub-bus drivers, and some bus drivers drive in the morning, some don't drive in the afternoon. Sometimes the routes are a little bit different from the morning or the afternoon, so that's not the same bus in the morning as it is in the afternoon. So there's a lot of changes, but I bet you today it was so much better Friday than it was Thursday, and today's going to be awesome because our people work hard at it and do a great job.
Now let's talk about the attendance calls, the robocalls that we had them shut off for the start of the year because we're just finding out who's coming back and who may not be with our district. But
trying to limit it because we got teachers calling roll and different things, and kids may be in the wrong class on the roll sheet, and we don't want to overfear it. But those are going to start going out. And when you get one of those calls, if you think your child is at school, call the school. Don't panic right off the bat because we're still working through that, and students are getting schedule transfers, schedule changes, and different things are happening that maybe somebody got counted absent when they weren't absent, and so that robocall rolled up and called. So make sure, first thing to do is call your school and confirm and try to locate your child. Most every time, if you think your child is at school, your child will be at school.
And so those will start either the end of this week, once we get it all settled down, or the start of next week. So just be aware that when you start getting those phone calls, you'll get the notification. And if you don't belong or have a student with LPS, just call us. We'll get you off as quickly as possible as well. Something else that we want to celebrate, everybody's back, and we've added some classes at the LRC so much that we have student workers here helping us with the podcast.
We're very excited about that. We'll get some of them on, but again, we want this podcast itself to be managed and student-driven. We're wanting life ready means getting, podcasts are becoming a huge part of society. There's a lot of people making good money doing podcasts. We get 50 viewers, so we're not getting many advertisers yet, but we're working on getting some advertisers and try to kick in a little money to the school budget. But anyway.
I would love to see one of them replace me.
No!
That's my job. Let's get them trained and get them out there.
But we do hope that we get some students more. We want to make the podcast more student-friendly this year, behind the scenes, and more students on the podcast. So we're excited about that.
Mr. Hime, what else would you like to share with our
Child
families?
nutrition.
Yes, that's right.
One thing we talk about is it's you see it in the paper, but last 2 years, I was kind of thinking of this today, since I've been at Lawton, everybody ate every meal free. So this year it's just breakfast. You have to pay for lunch unless you filled out your paperwork. Don't panic. We're letting everybody eat. We'll continue to let all of our students eat. We're not going to let anyone go hungry, but we're going to really start working hard to get that paperwork in. So work hard to get your paperwork in so your child can eat free or reduce, so we can take care of that for you. But don't panic right off the bat, but just make it known that we're feeding everyone at this time.
And it's on Parent Portal for the application if you're looking for it as a parent. But if you can't access that, just let our schools know, and we'll give you a paper copy and get that taken care of.
And in the paperwork side of it, we have lots of paperwork we have to get done. Please have patience with us. Sometimes you get a piece of paper home or a notice to fill something out you just know you already filled out or you already completed and turned in. Those paperwork is how we're funded. There's a lot of funding tied to those. So please just fill it out again and send it, and have patience with us if for some reason we didn't get it in the computer. Now, second of all, if you got questions, New Year, the podcast, things you want us to talk about, things you want to know about, info@lawtonps.org. Email is at info@lawtonps.org.
Anything else you would like to share,
No.
shout out? Okay, before we leave, I do want to share a clip that our staff did of the first day of school, and so we hope you enjoy. Mr. Hime, we hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you for joining me this week. We have a lot to talk about, and we're ready for a new school year. So until next week.
So exciting. A lot of
Yes.
great things will happen at Lawton Public Schools this year.
Absolutely. You guys make sure to subscribe, check our YouTube channel out, like our social media pages. Until next time, you have a fabulous week, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.